So, the long-awaited BFDIA 6 came out and it was fine. Don't get me wrong, it isn't awful, but it isn't good either, at least compared to BFDIA 5. It just feels like another modern TPOT episode with lackluster and nonsensical writing, and with characters being overly nice and silly. In this video I'll review BFDIA 6 in different parts such as animation, characters, etc. and explaining why some things don't really sit well with me. So, we're starting off with the thing that I had to say the least. The animation is amazing. It's been a long time since we've seen the BFDI style and it's nice to see it back, but seriously the animation looks amazing. Especially in scenes such as Rocky nodding or Puffball getting eliminated in the Woe Bunch vs Free Smart scene. So yeah, the elimination has definitely improved. Now, this is mainly an issue I have with Michael Huang's characters. I don't know, it just seems like he's constantly getting out of breath, which no wonder most of the voices he has to do are so high and the lines are so overly complicated now. I just think that now the voices are just too high, I guess. I find it really wild how the voice acting from over 10 years ago is better than it is nowadays. It just seems like they try too hard to be silly and goofy and always end their phrases awfully as if they lose all emotion midway the line. But this is more a nitpick than anything. I'll be going through each character that is currently in the game plus Puffball and going over how they are portrayed now versus how they were back then. Technically they have to be the same in this episode. I'll start off with the one that got eliminated. She acts the way I assumed Puffball would after the 5th episode. She thinks she'll get the prize but she instead actually gets eliminated. I would have liked to see more of a reaction from her for not getting the prize and getting eliminated instead of her screaming no until she falls into the TLC, and also her screaming didn't sound like a realistic reaction, she just sounded stupid and goofy. Yellowface has stayed the same not only in this episode but in the entirety of the show. He's still a joke character with not much relevancy. Bommy has definitely improved from his earlier episodes since he did close to nothing in those. In this episode he actually spoke quite a bit and did a lot of stuff, so while it's definitely not the same BFDIA Bommy, the change is more than welcome. Book has dropped in my opinion. She's just boring. She was just written awfully this episode. It would have been nice to see her being at least a little uncomfortable with how Pencil leads the team, or at least on her locking Ice Cube in the trunk of the truck. But with the modern style of writing, I'm not surprised they avoided any kind of drama with the characters. Man, Coiny suffered this episode. For sure a downgrade this episode from the rest of BFDIA. He lost all the charm he had in all the previous episodes. Man, I miss BFDIA Coiny. Now he just became a generic goofy character with zero charm, so basically, he's the same as in TPOT, maybe if he gets more screen time. Fiery was fine this episode. Apart from the voice acting, I didn't find him all too different from other episode. Fries was cool this episode. I liked his sarcastic remarks. Other than that he was just in the background. Golfball was pretty on character. Rightfully pissed at Puffball for making the team lose, and she was pretty much the same other than the usual stupid line here and there. He's the same I guess, still painfully unfunny though that may be the writing's fault too. My main issue with Ice Cube is them trying to mix the old lines with new ones. In my opinion it sounds terrible and just takes me off the episode. Other than that Ice Cube was irrelevant in the episode apart from the last few minutes in which she actually was pretty clever but not really good executed. Needle was good this episode. She had a lot of spotlight and I loved all of her interactions with Coiny. While she was a lot more positive than she usually is, it isn't that much to be consider her being out of character. Though I hated the Craking Lord bit, it was so stupid. Honestly, I gave up on this character. He is so inconsistent. He went from I'm the new Coiny to pessimistic and realist character to goofy character to overly goofy character to a just not defender against Pillow to now a goofy character again. Knowing that this is supposed to be BFDIA Nickel, he is definitely out of character. Honestly, I just don't care about Nickel anymore. Pin was good this episode, but she did lose some charm, so basically same as Coiny, though that may be the lack of screen time she had. But the scene with her feeding others to make them not meddle was annoying. He talked, that's about it. Apart from the first few minutes of the episode, she was pretty good this episode. Spongy has improved. He went from a background character that was only used for slapstick to a character that focuses on the challenges and talks with others. Tennis Ball was fine this episode. He didn't do much but stayed on character. I left the one that I thought suffered the most in the episode. I'm sorry, but Pencil was really out of character. She's usually a lot more competent than that. She's just out of character enough to notice. She's also a lot sterner than she is in the episode. The thing that I have a problem with the most is the ending. When she said that she should value more Ice Cube as a member, she never really went through an arc the episode. You would think that she would have been a lot more dismissive towards Ice Cube in the beginning of the episode, but the only thing she did was put her in the trunk because of the headphones she had on. There should have been a moment when Ice Cube tries to explain the plan she had, but Pencil shuts her up, saying dismissing her and not letting her speak, and then Ice Cube shows off her plan by doing it, and then Pencil admits that she did something wrong. This did happen in the episode, but it happened right at the end and really forced too, with no build-up. She's just way too nice this episode, but whatever. BFDIA 6 wasn't a bad episode, don't get me wrong. It actually is the best BFDIA episode, right behind the 5th one. I just personally don't like the writing style at all. Compared to how it was back then, it's just too childish. I really miss how BFDI never really gets scared of averting expectations, or when they actually took characters seriously in their plots too. Nowadays though, the series is just too safe. They're just too focused on trying to be funny and making references. It's just sad how mid this series has gotten. There aren't stakes, there aren't any interesting interactions, there aren't any plots or arcs, and just nothing to be interested in apart from who loses the challenge. There are a lot of flaws on the writing itself too. It just feels so dumb and so overly packed. The lines are just so girthy and overly detailed. I've seen a community post by Scarfo about it, and this is really the best way to explain it. The lines are just not natural, they seem really forced, and it's just not good in my opinion. Look, I don't hate the BFDI series or anything. The opposite, I adore it, and I just hate to dislike it. That's why I wanted to do this video. I really hope they can step up in the writing. And again, the episode wasn't bad, just not that good. And with all that being said, thanks for listening and goodbye.